Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that feels, well, straight out of science fiction. Imagine just using your words to dream up an entire, interactive world, and then actually stepping inside to play around in it. That future? It's getting here a whole lot faster than you might think. So picture this. You're standing in this beautiful, peaceful Irish countryside. Green hills all around. But then, the ground starts to shake, like violently. And huge chunks of the earth, hills, lakes, everything, are literally ripped from the ground and start floating in the sky. It sounds like a scene from some crazy blockbuster movie, right?
But get this, that entire scene, that whole world that you can walk around in, wasn't built by a team of game designers or artists. It was generated, pretty much instantly, by an AI.
Okay, so what is this thing exactly? We're talking about Google DeepMind's brand new AI called Genie 3. And trust me, it's way more than just another image generator.
Genie 3 is what's known as an AI world model. So how does it learn what a world even is? Well, it basically binge-watched hundreds of thousands of hours of internet videos, especially 2D platformer games. By watching all that footage, it started to understand physics, actions, how things are supposed to move and interact. So when you give it a prompt, it doesn't just spit out a static picture. It builds an entire digital environment that you can actually move around in, all generated on the fly.
And when I say this is a leap forward, I mean it's a massive leap from the last version. The old Genie could only work from an image, and it gave you maybe 10 or 20 seconds of interaction. Genie 3, on the other hand, starts from a simple text prompt and lets you explore for minutes at a time. Plus, the world it creates is way more consistent. It doesn't just fall apart or stop making sense as you move around.
And just to be clear, we're not talking about some choppy slideshow here. These are fully interactive worlds, running in real time. Genie 3 pumps them out at a smooth 24 frames per second, which is exactly what makes the whole experience feel so fluid and, real. So what can you actually create inside these worlds? This is where it gets really fun. Because the power of the prompts allows for some truly mind-blowing stuff.
The AI is smart enough to model realistic physics, like the way light reflects on water. It can generate a deep-sea world filled with glowing jellyfish, or it can create a wacky cartoon universe from scratch. It could even let you walk through a recreation of ancient Athens. The range is just incredible.
But here is where it becomes a total game changer. You're not just a visitor in these worlds. You're more like the director. So after you create a world, you can use new text prompts to change it while you're in it. You can make it start raining, or suddenly add a new character, or change the entire setting. It's a completely new level of dynamic interaction.
Just think about what that means. In one of DeepMind's own examples, the AI created a Victorian street. Then it was prompted to add a shimmering magical portal on the side of a house that leads to a desert, and your character can literally walk right through it. That shows an unbelievable level of creative consistency, where you can stitch entire worlds together.
But for all this incredible power, we have to be honest, the tech is still very new. So let's be realistic for a second and look at the limitations. Let's call them cracks in the simulation.
Okay, so for starters, what you can actually do in these worlds is still pretty limited. And having multiple independent characters running around doing their own thing, that's still a huge challenge for the AI. Also, while it can create places that feel real, it's not going to give you a geographically accurate map of Paris. And little things like rendering readable texts are still tricky for it. And of course, your playtime is still capped at a few minutes.
So even with those limitations, why is this technology so important? What are the real-world ripple effects when pretty much anyone can generate a brand new digital reality from thin air?
Well, the biggest use case might actually be for training other AIs. Imagine teaching a self-driving car or a robot to handle millions of different what-if scenarios in a perfectly safe, simulated world. It could also totally change education, letting students walk through historical sites or run virtual science experiments. And for gaming and entertainment, well, it opens the door to totally new kinds of interactive stories we haven't even dreamed of yet.
Of course, with this much power, you have to be careful. Google isn't just releasing Genie 3 out into the wild. For now, it's in a limited preview only for researchers and select creators. The whole idea is to study the risks and get feedback to make sure it's developed as responsibly as possible.
All of this brings us to the edge of a new frontier. These AI world models are only going to get more powerful and more accessible from here. So it leaves us with one massive question. If we have infinite new worlds right at our fingertips, what on earth are we going to choose to create?